is not an exception, होइन, त्यो भइरहेछ अब. I think even after the lockdown is relaxed, I think the people will not be in a position to gather in groups. So that's why uh, I don't see the possibility of the instructor-led classroom trainings happening for quite some time. I think this will go, and the mode of training has changed to online mode. अब त हाम्रो चाहिँ यही नै हो, अनलाइन मोडमै हामी जान्छौँ. र दिस इज वान अफ द प्रिभिलेज द्याट वी आर ह्याभिङ इज द टेक्नोलोजी, द प्लेटफर्म. अहिलेको टेक्नोलोजिकल एजमा आई थिङ्क यो पार्ट पनि रहेछ. अनि यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले वी आर फोर्स्ड, वी आर कम्पेल्ड टु युटिलाइज दिस प्लेटफर्म नाउ. अब यो दिस इज वान अफ द पोजिटिभ एस्पेक्ट अफ यो कोभिडको पेन्डेमिक्सको एउटा पोजिटिभ एस्पेक्ट पनि हुनु को रूपमा चाहिँ लिन सकिन्छ यसलाई. त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि अहिले हामीले यसलाई नै युटिलाइज गर्न गइरहेको छौँ, होइन. र नेसनल ब्याङ्क इन्स्टिच्युटले अब वी हेभ अलरेडी डन क्वाइट अ फ्यु ब्याचेस अफ यो बिएलसिज, भर्चुअल लर्निङ क्लासेसहरू थुप्रा गरिसक्यौँ अन डिफ्रेन्ट एरियाजहरूमा. र त्यस्तै गरेर देयर आर अ लट अफ यो अनलाइन बिएलसिज आर कमिङ अप विच विल बी एड भेरी सुन, होइन. त्यसमा पनि हजुरहरूले पार्टिसिपेट गर्नुभयो हुन्छ. र अहिले हामीले यो एक्सेललाई गर्दैछौँ. एक्सेल प्रोग्राम चाहिँ दिस इज वान अफ अ पपुलर प्रोग्राम्स. हामीले पहिला पनि धेरै ब्याचहरू गऱ्यौँ. र स्टडी अल्सो सोज द्याट यो अ मेजर ह्युज चङ्क अफ आवर डेली मुन्डेन डे टु डे वर्कको एउटा चाहिँ ठुलो पार्ट चाहिँ यो एक्सेलमा डिपेन्ड गर्छ. यु सी एक्सेलको चाहिँ यसको पावर, यसले चाहिँ हाम्रो रिपोर्टिङमा चाहिँ कति सजिलो बनाइरहेको हुन्छ, होइन. अनि त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो एक्सेल इज दिस इज युजफुल फर एभ्री वान. र त्यही लाई नै विचार गरेर हामीले थुप्रै बेसिक लेभलदेखि एडभान्स लेभलको प्रोग्रामहरूमा हामीले थुप्रा नै प्रोग्राम गरिरहेका छौँ. र अहिले हामीलाई पहिला सुरुमा त डाउट लागिरहेको थियो वेदर यो एक्सेल चाहिँ अनलाइन भर्चुअल क्लासेसहरूमा हुन्छ कि हुँदैन भनेर. अनि हामीले पछि यस्तो डिस्कस गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ दिस इज इभन इजियर. अहिले यो यसबाट चाहिँ गर्दाखेरि झन् हाम्रो एकदमै कोलाबोरेसन विल बी भेरी पर्सनल, एकदमै क्लोज कोलाबोरेसन हुँदो रहेछ. एभ्री वान हेभ अ भेरी क्लियर उसमा चाहिँ बुझ्न सकिने, हामीले नोटहरू पनि गर्न सकिने. त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि यसमा पनि हामी गरौँ भनेर हामीले यसमा गरिरहेका छौँ, होइन. र अनि यो प्रोग्रामको लागि हाम्रो दिप सिंह राउत सरलाई चाहिँ हामीले के इन्भाइट गरेका छौँ. हि इज वान अफ आवर लिड ट्रेनर्स स्पेसली अन एक्सेलको चाहिँ. र ब्रिफली टकिङ अबाउट हिम, हि एक्चुली वर्क्स विथ द एसियन एग्रिकल्चर डेभलपमेन्ट ब्याङ्क लिमिटेड. आई थिङ्क हि क्यारिज नियरली 10 years of experience with ADBL, and he is an expert in Excelमा. अनि I hope you will definitely enjoy his session, and I request all of you to get the best out of this session. Yeah, thank you so much. And so over to you, sir. Deep sir, you can take.
Thank you so much, Dan sir, and the entire NBI team. Very good morning to all participants here. So agi Dan sir le भन्नु भएको जस्तै, so we are trying to do one virtual session on Excel, right? So NBI has been doing this advanced Excel sessions for a very long time, thinking about it's important in banking sector. This today's session is titled as Easy Reporting Using Excel's Powerful Feature, that is pivot table, pivot chart, right? And this is just a part of our advanced Excel. So why we have chosen this today for the session is you actually don't really need to have that good knowledge or that basic knowledge of Excel. Without that also we can use pivot. That's the good thing about pivot. And reporting is something that we all have to do every day in our day-to-day work. So if you just spend today's 1 hour session, then we definitely believe that this is going to help you in your reporting. And I'm again repeating, even if you don't have that good knowledge of the functions and all that, we can simply use this pivot to get various kinds of reports. Okay, so so that's about me. I've been doing Excel sessions since 2014 with NBI. So hundreds of participants, not only from bank, but from other sectors also, like insurance, merchant banks, hydropower, government organizations also, and other leading corporates. They have uh, I had the opportunity to work with them. So that's a very small introduction about me. Okay, uh, not wasting much time now. Let's move on to the contents that we are going to cover today. So we will start first with the concept of pivot. So how we create pivot report. The second content is how we can tweak pivot for better report. So pivot, with pivot you can create any kind of report that you want, as long as you have proper data. Okay. And the third content is get the business insight quicker and easier. So time and again, while working, we need to generate different kind of reports and analytical reports that can be done with much ease and fast in pivot. Okay. Then fourth is we can also create pivot from multiple tables. Okay, so if you have data on sheet 1 and then you have data on sheet 2, it is possible to consolidate these data from different sheets to single pivot. That will also be covered. And then we'll just touch upon this pivot chart. Okay? While working in bank, we really don't do that much of chart, creating charts. But then again, for better report, for better data visualization, we also need to work with pivot chart. So I'll just touch upon this topic, pivot chart, and finally we'll just discuss some common problems, common confusions that we have regarding pivot, and we'll try to fix those issues. And like said before, if we have enough time, we will do one exercise learning all these concepts and apply in that one final exercise. Okay, so I believe everyone can hear loud and clear. And if you have any queries, you can just put up your questions on the chat box, or you can also raise hand so that you can put your questions on voice also. Okay. All right. So let's start. So I have this PowerPoint, and with PowerPoint, I will also be showing you the demo of how these pivot reports are created in Excel file. So right now I have this PowerPoint. So let's move on to the first slide. Okay. So before I start, can you just you know wave to tell me how many of you have already used pivot? Can you just wave? Not yet. Okay. So rest of my, okay. So there are some uh, friends who are saying yes, and a lot of them are saying no. Okay. Okay. So great. So there is no point to worry, if you have not used pivot, and if you are going to use it for the first time. So you don't have to really worry, because like I said before, it's very easy to apply this tool in Excel. And I can bet you can, from tomorrow onwards, or from very end of the session, you can apply this tool for your reporting. Okay. Thanks for your comments. Okay, chat. Okay. So this report I have, I'm using a data set of deposit of a, let's say, imaginary branch. Okay, we'll try to analyze the deposit here. So how do we create pivot report is uh, Okay, so like I said, I have a data set of imaginary branch, okay, bank, for different branches, for different provinces, for different deposit products. Okay, so this is a customer database. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do before creating a pivot is to have a proper data set like this. Okay, there are certain rules that we have to follow while preparing this kind of data set. So once we have this data sets, it's very easy to create a pivot report out of this. So the first step is you go to insert tab. I believe you can see the screen, right? Insert tab. So here you can see pivot table. So if you click on this, you will get a dialog box like this. Okay, and this whole table is being selected automatically. If something is wrong here, then you can do that manually also. You can select the entire table like this, and we have option to create pivot in this sheet itself, or we can also create in a new worksheet. Okay, so this is how we create a pivot. Okay, so if I hit OK, then I get a screen like this. Okay, in a new worksheet, I'm ready to put my pivot. Okay, so coming back to this PowerPoint. So once we create a pivot report like that, uh, then we get one. This is canvas. This is called canvas, and this is your uh, pivot table fields. Okay, so based on your table, you will get these fields, and the canvas is where your actual report is going to be laid. Okay, and there are these four boxes: filter, columns, rows, and values. Those are the boxes with which we play around to get any kind of report that we want. Okay, so this is a general idea how we create a pivot. Now here I have different reports out of that database.
Hello, Deep sir. I think Deep sir
Yeah,
disconnected
yeah,
from us.
there
So,
was, yeah. No,
okay,
I'm back.
okay.
I'm back, Rajesh. See, okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I was saying we can create different reports out of our uh, database. So the fourth report, if you look into this, uh, we have a cross-tabular report where you are seeing different deposits of different provinces. Okay, so these are the general reports that we can generate from that database with just few click of mouse. Okay, so you might not trust me, believe me, that it can be done in few click of mouse. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it can be done with few click of mouse. Okay, so let's try and create this first report, which is your province based total deposit. Okay, So just hold on while I switch the screen to Excel. Okay, all right. So this is your Excel file. I'll be sharing this Excel file later on with you through NBI. Okay, so let's create our first pivot. Okay, so we were saying we want to create a report, uh, total deposit province wise, right? So what we have to do next is, so this is your canvas. Okay, so this is the pivot table field. So I need province, so I'll just put a check mark on province. Then then I will be needing the balance. This is your deposit figure. So if you counted my click of mouse, I think I hardly did 3 click of mouse or 2, and your report is ready. So this is your first pivot that shows deposit on the basis of province. Okay, so the base for this report is, so this is the table from where we created this report. Okay, so this was our database data set, and we created this report with just few click of mouse. Okay, now let's do another exercise. If you have uh, you know if you had difficulty catching up with the steps, let's do it again, but for creating another report. And that would be the same kind of report, but not province wise but branch wise. Okay, so again I'll just go to the insert tab. I can click on pivot table. Okay, uh, now I have to show the data source. Data source is in my sheet 4. So this is my data source. Control A you can uh, do to select the entire table. Now I want to put the report in sheet 5 only, here in sheet 5. So this is your location where you're going, your report is going to be placed. You have two options here. You can either go for a new worksheet, or you can also place the report in the same worksheet, existing worksheet. Okay, so I'll hit OK. Now this is another canvas where I'll put second report, and my second report is branch wise. So I'll just click on branch, and then I'll click on balance. Okay, and here I have another report that shows branch wise total deposits. Okay. So now let's try and create another report. Okay, my source of table is again sheet 4. Control A to select entire table. I want to put in a new worksheet, so I'll just choose new worksheet and hit OK. Now uh, I have this sheet 6 where I generate my new report. Okay, so I just want to create a cross-tabular report here. So one of our friend is asking me to repeat the steps. You don't have to worry about that, because all these reports that we create will be using the same steps. So I'm repeating that again to create a cross tabular report. And by cross tabular I mean to generate this kind of report. So I need province, I need my product type, and I need the balance. Okay, so you can actually click and drag these table fields to drop on these four boxes. So uh, my report is generated here. So if you look into this report, it is province wise, it is showing you the breakdown of deposit mix also. So this is Bagmati province with call, current, saving and term deposits, and likewise for other province. Okay, so to put this in tabular, cross tabular format, all we have to do is take this product, drag it and drop in column, and you get this kind of cross tabular report. So you have province wise your deposit mix. Very easy. So if you want to do it for branch wise, it's the same steps. Let me do it for you. Again, insert. See, these steps are same for all these reports that we have generated. So if you have missed out, I'm repeating it again to generate another report, branch wise deposit mix. Okay, so insert, pivot table, source is in seat number 4. So this is my database. Hit control A, that will select the entire thing, and I'll put it in existing worksheet. Here in the existing worksheet, I'll hit OK. Now I'm ready to create my next report. That would be branch wise. Branch, I need product and I need balance. Okay, so I'll just again drag and drop this product in columns. So here we have branch wise deposit mix. Okay, so it's very easy to create your pivot if you have proper data set. Okay, so these are the reports that we have created just now. The third one, let's try to make it a little bit complex. Okay, so I'm not uh, trying to scare you saying to make complex reports. It's very easy. Just you need to add few more clicks to make this kind of report. By complex report, I mean to say we want to make it more analytical than just summary. Okay, so in this report you can see province wise, branch wise report. So you have all the provinces and branches under it and the deposit. The second table shows all the provinces and their deposit, and we not just interested in the amount of deposit, we also need the information as to how many deposit accounts are there. So this is shown in your report number 2, and if you look into report number 3, it is more analytical. It is showing you the deposit mix in percentage. That way you can analyze which is the best product, and uh, which is the province that gives you the largest deposit. you know so these are the kind of complex reports that we can generate using pivot. Okay, now again let me take you back to Excel. Okay, so this is my data set. Now let's create those tables that we just saw from this table. Okay, so new worksheet, fine, click OK. Now I created new sheet where I'll create this report. So the first report that we had was province wise, branch wise deposit, right? So there we had branch, then we had province, and we had the balance. Okay, so this does not look that good, right? Because what is happening is you have branch and below it is province. we were actually trying to get province at the top and branches, the concerned branches under, right? So to tweak that report, it's very easy. Just if you look into this box rows, we have branch and province. All we have to do is drag this branch below the province, and that's your report. Okay, so you can get the summary province wise, branch wise, like this. Now let's create another report. Again, insert pivot table, again in new worksheet. So what we want to create is, we want province wise balance. And if you remember, the second report showed the number of accounts also, right? We are not just interested in the amount of deposit, we also want number of accounts. Okay, so for that we need to drag this balance table field to this values box. So if you do that, now we have now we have B and C, two columns that shows the deposit balance only, right? So what we do is, we'll change one of these two, this function, from sum to count. So how do we do that? So it's very easy. So if you just click on this drop down here, you'll see this value field settings. If you click here, you'll see this dialog box. Okay, so by default it was taking sum function. We want to change it to count. So hit OK, and that's the count of account numbers. Okay, so this is how you create province wise deposit balance and deposit number of accounts. Okay, so you see it's all about playing with these four boxes. Till now we have worked with rows box, column box, and values box. We'll also see an example where we'll be using filter box. Okay, now let's create another cross-tabular report where we want to analyze province-wise deposit in percentage. Okay, so for that, let's create again another table, pivot table. My source of table is in seat 4. Okay, so I want province-wise deposit mix in percentage. So when I just click these fields, I get report like this. So to convert it into cross-tabular report, we'll have to take this product type into columns. Okay, or the otherwise you can do province on column side and product on the row side. That is also possible. But just a quick tip, it's better to put the fields that has longer rows on the row side, and columns for the shorter side. Okay, that way your report fits in one page. Okay, so we have this report here. Now we want to convert these values into percentage to make this report more analytical. So what we do next is, you can either right click here and go to value field settings. Okay, or we can also go to this analyze tab. So we let me tell you about this. When we click outside of this pivot, we don't see that analyze tab and design tab. Once I click on this, I have this analyze tab and design tab, which is uh, these tabs are related to controlling these pivot table. Okay, so right now I want to click on Analyze tab, and then I want to go to this one, Field Settings. Okay, so either you can choose this way, or you can simply right click and click on Value Field Settings. Okay, it's the two different approach to get to the same place. Now, next step is we will have to click on, right now we are on Summarize Value By. Now we want to click on Show Value As. So this is another tab. If you click on this, you will see some change, right? So right now we have no calculation, Show Value As, no calculation. We want to change this Show Value As into percent of grand total. Okay, so we have so many options here. Right now we are interested in percent of grand totals. So if I hit OK, there you have report in percentage, right? So this makes more sense, right? This is more analytical than the previous report that had amount in figures. Okay, so based on this, can you tell me in chat which province is giving us the most deposit? From this table. So I have some answers. Yes, Bagmati province. I think you don't even have to look into the report, because most of the time the measure portfolio is from Bagmati province only. Yeah, almost everyone got it correct. So Bagmati province is giving us the maximum portfolio. Now,
गाडीमै आएको नि ट्रेनिङ थियो एउटा खोइ आउँदा आउँदा आदि भइगयो बोले ठ्याक्कै बोलेछ नि फेरि
now, can you also tell me like which product has highest deposit?
ल्यापटप भनेको काम कति छ यहाँ गरे
घरै बसेर गरे भाइ. Okay, so let me see the answer. Yes, term deposit. Okay, so it's very clear from this report that which is your strong product, where you have weaknesses, which is your most contributing province, and all that sort of analysis. Okay, thank you for your responses.
तेरोड भएर डकुमेन्ट बनाउनु के छ दाइ ठीक छ दाइ धेरै पैसा के भन्नु दाइ यस्तो छ सबैजना घर बसी घाम तापे दाइ.
Okay. Okay, so we created complex reports also, but it was not that difficult, right? The process of creating these reports were not that difficult. That was the good thing about this pivot table. Even without knowing Excel functions, and without bothering about the complexities, intricacies that goes beyond that goes behind you don't have to really bother about that. The pivot itself takes care of all these things, and you can just generate all these reports with just few click of mouse. Okay, so now we have this another one. This topic says that we can also, uh, generate pivot from multiple tables. That means if you have your data set in spread over different sheets, we can actually, consolidate these data to one pivot report. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's see that. Okay, I'm sharing Excel screen now. Okay, so I have now, I'm using these two data set, sheet 1 and sheet 2. So in this table I don't have the report from Bagmati province. Except for Bagmati province, uh, I have report for other provinces, and in sheet 2 I have report for Bagmati province. So what I want to do is I want to consolidate these two sheets into one pivot. Okay, so for that, we can see, we can't simply do it from here. Okay, so for that we need to get one command, and this is the step to get that command on your ribbon tab, or say on your quick access toolbar. So let's look for this. So I guess this is the command that we have to use. So let me add this here and hit OK, and that will be available on quick access toolbar. So here it is. So if I click on this, not this one, I think this one, not this one, but this one. Okay, so I have this command. This is the command that is not available on these ribbon tabs, not available on this insert ribbon tab. So I got it from here, from more commands. So you can just bring it over here. Now let me click on this, and it gives me a wizard box like this. So I'll have to choose multiple consolidation ranges. Okay, because I want to consolidate from multiple sheets. For the demo purpose, I'm doing it for two sheets. We might have separate, reports on different sheets for each provinces. Next, click on I will create the page fields. Next, okay, so we'll have to provide the ranges now. So this is my sheet number 1 table. So I'll add here. Again, I go to this range, I go to sheet number 2 and provide the range, and again add that here. And how many page field do you want? I'll just click on 1 and let me hit next. Let's do it in new worksheet, hit finish, and you have Bagmati province with the rest of a province in a single report. So unlike previous reports, you cannot actually uh, play with these four boxes here. But what you can do is you can simply get the sum of the deposits or number of deposits, deposit accounts from this report. So let me hide these. We hide these for you, and you can just get a report like this. Okay, so this is very useful for consolidating reports from different sheets. There are other ways of consolidating report, but this is also useful using pivot. Now let's move on to next topic. How do we create a pivot chart? Okay, so creating pivot chart is also very easy out of pivot table. So like I said before, we really don't have to make that much of chart, but this one small demo will show you how you can also create simple charts from line charts and bar charts. Okay, so this is the data set. Now let me hit on insert, click on pivot table only, new worksheet, hit OK. Okay, so we want province and let's say deposit balance. So this is your report. Now to create a pivot chart, the chart that is based on pivot table, we have to go to insert, click on this pivot and click on insert, and then you can go to pivot chart. You can choose the kind of chart that you want to create. I'll just go for a column chart for now. Hit OK, and you have a chart and table in same sheet, right? So it's very easy to create charts also. So if you have any queries, you can just go ahead and put on the chat box. So you just, if you have any questions, you can just put in a chat box. And as you put up your queries, I'll just show you another chart. This one. Okay, so this is a new chart type. It's called tree map chart, available I think in 2016, Excel 2016. Uh, this kind of chart cannot be, uh, created using pivot table. You can get the pivot table, and you can use those report, take those pivot table and place copy that pivot table and paste it somewhere else as a normal text as paste values, and then you can use that source of data to create this kind of chart. So if you see this chart, it's self-explanatory. So it shows you province wise and breakdown of that branches, so it looks very beautiful. So uh, there is one question from Chesang. Hi Chesang. uh, Chesang is asking, what if we want to show only few province? Do you have filter option? Yes, definitely. You can do the filter. You can filter out those provinces that you want to don't want to see the report. That is entirely possible. Yeah, there is question about consolidation. Yeah, consolidation can be done for amount, can be done for number of accounts. It can be done for both. And there is question from regarding percent of percent. And also, I don't do that much of chart. You can just play with your chart. Uh, but yes, you can show percentage wise also. Okay, so if you have further questions, you can just go ahead and uh, write in the chat box. Now I'll just move on to our next topic. Finding problems. So these are some of the problems that we face, and I just want to discuss these. The first one is data sheet. Second is about cache. Another one is about object addition to data. We can do that manually, and we can also do that automatic. And the last one is about grouping of data. So let's move on to the first one, data set. Okay. So before starting, I said we need to have a proper data set to create a pivot. Okay, so you might just get excited and start trying to get a pivot report for this kind of report, this kind of data set, which is already a report. uh, you'll not be able to get a pivot report for this. So what you have to do is convert this kind of table into this kind. Okay, so you need to convert this kind of report into this kind of report. It's called unpivoting. The data set has to be on columnar format, not like this cross-tabular format. Okay, so if you look into our data set, it was on columnar format. That's the first thing. Now let's discuss about the second point. It's called cache. Okay, so uh, generally what is misunderstood in pivot is if you change if you change the source data, and if you assume that the changes are reflected on your pivot table report, then you are wrong. Okay, so what happens is, uh, in pivot you have this thing called cache. It will just store the report, and even if there is change in your source of data, it will not update automatically. So in order to reflect those changes that you made on your original data set, you have to click on analyze and hit this refresh button. Okay, until and unless you hit this refresh button, it will not be updated. So don't make that blunder. Now next one is update addition to data. So the data that I just showed you had deposits for different branches for different customers. So what if there is addition to that data? What if there are new branches? What if there are new customers? We'll add new rows of data. So how do we update that? There are two ways of doing that. One is manually. Manually, you can click on Analyze ribbon tab and click on Change Data Source, and you will be asked to provide the data source. That would be manual. Another way of automating that thing is to convert this source data into Excel table. Excel table is a feature in Excel, so we can use that to automate this thing. Okay, so I'll just demo these two cache and about uh, update of additional data, both manually and automatic. Here we have our table. I'll just get a copy of this. Here is the copy of this data. Okay, so this is the copy. So what I mean to say is, let me first create a table, insert a pivot table, a very simple pivot table, existing worksheet where in this sheet only. Okay, a very simple would be product type and then your balance. Okay, so this is your report. This is your report. Okay. Now, if the value of this one of these sales changes or several of these sales changes, my total deposit has changed, right? But if I click here, it doesn't change. Okay, so in order to get that to be reflected on this pivot table, I have to click on analyze and then hit refresh. Before I hit refresh, I just want to see the total. I'll just hit refresh and total changes. You see, it changed, right? So this is about refreshing the cache. Okay. Now, next thing that I mentioned was we might have addition to this data, right? So we might just have another new rows of data added to this table, right? So this is also not reflected on our report. So how do we update that? For that, what we have to do is click again on analyze and then click on change data source. Now this has to be selected till 208, right? Row number 208. So it should be 20, not 5 but 8. Okay, so again click on change data source. You can see now the whole thing has been selected. Okay, or you can simply wipe this whole thing out and click on this and hit Control A, and this whole thing will be selected. Now there is some problem, right? It is selecting the pivot table also. So let me do another way. Okay, so this is cell A1. I'll hold Control and Shift, right arrow, down arrow. Now hit OK, and my this report is now again further updated. Okay, so I can just hit refresh to get the update. I believe you are following me, even though you don't get to practice it yourself. You can practice it later on. Now, the last and also very useful thing is grouping your data. You can group your data to get more customized report. So if you look into this, you can see that the previous report is like this. What I want to do here is I want to merge this current and saving column out of this pivot report and show it as CASA, current and saving, in one column. Okay, it's very easy. Uh, Let me again switch to Excel. So let me create a new report for that. Insert, pivot, new worksheet. So I want provinces, I want products, and I want balance. So this is the report I got. I need to change these into cross-tabular format. Let me drag this product type on column box. Now let me change this into percentage, percentage of grand total. Okay. Now let me turn these grand totals off. So I click on Design tab, uh, off for rows and columns. Okay, so this is the report. Now I want to merge these two columns. So I select these two columns, just the headings, right click on that. You see group. So click on that group, and this is now a new group. I can give it a new name as CASA. Hit enter. So this is your, you can just click on this. Now this is your grouped table. The current and saving accounts are grouped in this column. So if you want to see the expanded version, you can just click on plus. You can see current and saving. If you want to group it, just hit minus and you get the report like this. After the end of this session, I'll be sharing the Excel file. I'll uh, provide you that Excel file, but somebody is asking for the slides also. But unfortunately, I'll not be sharing my slides. I think we'll have our videos also uploaded in our NBI's YouTube channel, so you can just visit our YouTube channel also. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can just ask. I believe you found this easy to follow, even though you don't uh, use the exercise. I'm just looking for your questions if you have any. Otherwise, we'll just take another 5 minutes to do one more final exercise to recap all those things that we have done right now. So no questions popping up. So okay, let me. Okay, there is one question from Chesang. Can we have ratio format such as 1 is to 3? Uh, well, I think if you put that in percentage, it will be uh, changed into ratio format. It is not exactly ratio format, but if you show it as 10% and 30%, then it can be understood as ratio format 1 is to 3. Yeah, there is a YouTube channel uh, from NBI. Maybe we'll share the link for our YouTube channel also, or you can just uh, go to YouTube and search for NBI channel. Okay, so no more questions popping up. So to wrap this up, I'll just uh, show you one questions, and we'll also show you the solutions for that. Well, the question is uh, from the data set in seed 4, the data set that we have been using, prepare a report to show deposit mix by individual and institution. Okay, so we need to maybe this will address the question that was asked by Chesang to show in ratio. So what we want to do here is we want to prepare a report, and that report should illustrate deposit mix by individual and institution wise. Okay, so that is another way of analyzing our deposit to show uh, how much of deposits are from institutional customers. I hope you got the question right. I'm giving you a minute to go through the questions again, and if you have any questions, if you have not understood this question, you can ask to get clarified. This is important because if you don't understand the question, then will not understand the solution, right? Okay, let me go to the solution for this. Okay, okay, this is your sheet number 4. So this is my data set. I want to create a report out of this report. Okay, out of this report to show deposit mix. Okay, so I have deposit balance here. To show the deposit mix, I can use this column because I have segregated the gender as male, female, and institution, I for institution. So this is another column that I would be using. Okay, so I'll just create a report in this sheet only. So let's start, insert, pivot table, existing worksheet. Here in this worksheet, hit OK. So you must have uh, been clear of these steps because I've been repeating again and again. Now, uh, what I want is gender, right? So gender column. Next thing I want is balance, right? So this is the report. Now I want to group this male, male, and this female. Okay, so let me group this male and female. How do I do that? So select this female, not like this. You need to be selecting just this cell only. then hold the control key on your keyboard and select this mail, just the cell mail, and right click and hit group. Okay, so you can call this what, individual, and you can call this institutional, right? Now uh, we want to show these in percentage, right? So click on one of these values and summarize, sorry, show value as percent of grand total. Now let me click on this minus sign here and this minus sign here. That's the deposit mix for individual and institution. So this bank looks uh, needs to revise its deposit strategy, right? Because it is having institutional deposit mix of 34.70, around 35%, which is against the regulations given by Rashtra Bank. Okay, so these are the kind of reports that we can create using pivot table. Okay, so that brings to my end of the session. If you have any questions, uh, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll end the session for today. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask. Or you can also tell how you like the program. Okay, there is one question. There is one question from Chesang. He asked about the filter. I told that it can be done. I'll just demo that as well. Let me share the screen again. Pivot table. Okay, let me show you on this report. So let's say I don't want to uh, see the reports for this province 1, 2, and 5. Okay, they don't have province name yet. So I just want to get rid of those provinces from my report. That's just an example, okay? So what I have to do is click on this row label and click on this drop down and you'll see the filter here. So just uncheck province 1, province 2, and province 5 and hit OK, and you'll just see the filtered report. So there is another question. Can we do filter on branches of the provinces? Yes, you can do multiple level filters. If you know about filter, if you know about advanced filter, it should not be a problem. In our chat box, our colleague Bishnu Dungana has also provided you with the YouTube link. You can just copy that for your reference. So if there is no any other questions, we have to end this session for now. I believe this was just about 1 hour session, but like I said at the start, you can immediately put this into implementation at your work right away. Thank you all. Thanks for your participation.